What's up, everybody? It's Sugar or Erica from the Classy Climb blog. Super excited to be here with our special host, our co-host with the mostest. Listen, she used to be down over here like every day, but we back. All right, we just came back from Alaska. She been traveling the world. She's an international spy. But let's bring it on. Introduce yourself to the audience for us today, Kiara.
Hey, everybody. I am Kiara from Charm City Buyers. Myself, Khalil, Michaela, we're out here in Baltimore buying back the block, making sure we're building wealth and building Baltimore. Thanks for having me, Ericka.
For sure. Everybody drop that city and state in the chat. Now, listen, you guys. We already know with the Classy Climb Tour, y'all been locking out Washington D.C, Atlanta early. I got special guests coming in. We can't say everybody's name, but we got some folks coming through. So listen, I have to share with y'all some of these stats I saw on Baltimore. It just blew my mind. Let me see if I can pull it up right here for you. And I'm gonna share the screen, and then we're gonna hop into it. Okay, Kiara, let's do it. Listen, this is the updates on Baltimore. Real estate, okay.
You got
look. Somebody said Charm City Buyers back. Yes, that's right. She's back in building.
You already know. And so we've been on the channel for a long time. I used to come pop in all the time, but Ericka started to kick me off. And I've been talking about this Baltimore stuff forever. So it's a perfect time to kind of bring it back and say, I told you so.
For sure. Listen, I got to show y'all these stats, man. They were blowing my mind today. Okay. Now, this is from December 31st, 2020. So, we had all the virus issues and people are moving. Okay. So, did you know Maryland is the most populated city? Baltimore is the most populated city in Maryland, 30 most populated city in the USA. Okay. Mind blown. Then we had over here, Baltimore, of course, is 40 miles from Washington, D.C. 51% of the population is between 20 to 59 years old. The median age in Baltimore is 38 years old. Look at that. What is that even area? I don't know, but it looks good. That's a good viewpoint right there. All right. So then let me go here because everybody be like, do they make money? Hold up now. Average annual salary in Baltimore is $57,000 versus the $51,000 in the United States average. The median household in Baltimore is $83,000, while per capita income is $43,000. They making racks out there now. Okay. Now you also have the GDP of Baltimore, Columbia, Townsend, MSA, you know how that do that, is $215 billion according to the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis, and has grown more than 44% over the past 10 years. Oh, y'all making some money up there. Now, people say, what are the jobs in Baltimore? Let me go ahead and hit you with it. Targeted growth industries in Baltimore region are life sciences, IT, logistics, manufacturing, healthcare, agricultural, and energy. The top employers in Baltimore are Social Security Administration, Centers, Medicaid, T. Rowe Price, Community Colleges of Baltimore, Greater Baltimore Medical Center, Townsend University, McCormick and Company, and Lockheed Martin. Y'all, this is a lot. I can't read them all, but you guys got to check out this link. I mean, this is crazy. 91% of Baltimore County residents have their high school diploma or higher. 41% hold a bachelor degree or advanced degree. The 5 interstate highways include I-95, 170 and 183 connect Baltimore to more than 66% of the U.S. population with an overnight drive. And this one surprised me. The Port of Baltimore, the closest East Coast port to the Midwest, employs more than 14,000 people and set a record last year for shipping volume.
Yep. And you know what's not on here? There's like 3 Amazon warehouses in Baltimore. And there's so much going on. Like there's so much happening. And one of the things, because they talk about Baltimore County. So if you know about the Baltimore area, there's Baltimore City County. So within the city regions, it's Baltimore City, and then you have Baltimore County. That all used to be kind of one area, and then they broke it down into 2. But what's important about right now, when we talk about the Baltimore City market, is now everybody's stuck in their house, right? Because you have COVID. So now people are thinking about, obviously, their expenses, the spacing in their homes, but also walkability. People want to be comfortable and want to walk to different places, have that kind of city vibe feel or whatever. And so you have a lot of people moving into Baltimore for that. And because DC and New York is too damn high. It's too high. too high to live there. So now they're like, oh, Baltimore, I can get to New York super fast. I can get to DC super fast. I can pay a quarter of the price, get 3 times the house, and the food better. Boom. We win.
Listen, you guys, CNBC News has been coming down there like 3-4 times. I don't know if you've seen that. They've been interviewing various different people in the Baltimore area. So This was in December. It said the median selling price for a single family home in Baltimore was $269. Is that what you're seeing?
So when they're talking about Baltimore here, they're probably talking about Baltimore City and Baltimore County. They might be merging it all into one region. But we have seen the average price of homes go up considerably over the last year, for sure.
They had the Zillow home value, which Zillow is, but home in Baltimore is 162 as November 2020. Now, out of the 224 neighborhoods in Baltimore, Locust Point, I hope I'm saying that correctly, the most expensive with a medium home price of $385. That sound right?
Yeah. Sounds about right.
Carrollton Ridge is the most affordable in Baltimore with a medium home price of $25,000.
I think the most expensive neighborhood for those who really know Baltimore is probably more like up there where all the private schools are. So over in like why am I blanking right now? Up by like Gilman and like the schools like that. That neighborhood usually has very much more expensive houses.
Right. And this is the part that I was like, you're going to know this the best. Okay. So about a year ago, you guys got ranked number 4 best market for growth in single family rental yield today. Today, Baltimore is listed as one of the best places to buy a rental property for cash flow and appreciation. What's your thoughts on that?
100%. Baltimore, there's not many places where you're going to get a place where the property values are as low as they are versus the rental prices being high. Like, be it right or be it wrong, properties are relatively cheap. Rents are high. So when people are talking about like the 1% rule or the 2% rule, when they're talking about real estate metrics, like you want let's say you buy a property for $100,000, you want your rental income to be $1,000 per month. Well, in Baltimore, you're going to get a lot of times more than that. Like you can get a house for, in some areas, $70,000 and you're renting that property for $1,250, depending on how many bedrooms and all those types of things. So you definitely get a higher cash flow, and the appreciation point is all about where Baltimore is in its maturation as a market, right? There's still, it's funny because we talk about how prices are going up so crazy. Everybody's moving here. All this stuff is happening. But at the same time, there's still tons. Roland Park, thank you. That's exactly what I was talking about.
Yeah, they're saying it in the chat. I just was like trying to stay focused.
Yeah, no, I appreciate y'all. And so you have, what was I saying? You have the properties, the values going up so high. And so even though everything's moving and changing so much, there's a lot of areas and opportunities in Baltimore for development. And so you still have areas where you're going to see very significant appreciation over the next several years, even though there's markets that can't keep properties on the market. And so with Baltimore, you can't, kind of paint the whole city with one broad brush, which is why there's so much opportunity and why so many people are looking to get in.
Love it, love it, love it. So then they had, which I believe this is spot on. It says the average rent in Baltimore is $1,304 per month. And that was in October 2020. So again, take this with a grain of salt. 70% of the housing units in Baltimore rent for over $1,000 a month.
That's accurate.
About 26% of the residents in Baltimore are between ages of 30 to 49, which is perfect for the rental market for millennial renter. So these are I think these are interesting. Neighborhoods in Baltimore most affordable for renters include Brooklyn, Curtis Bay, Fairfield area, which rents average $875. But neighborhoods in Baltimore with the highest rent include Perkins Homes, Upper Fields Point, and Washington Hill, where the average monthly rents are $2,100. What them houses looking like? Let me see. Are those areas about accurate, or this is just?
I would articles? Say Perkins Homes. I'm not sure about Perkins Homes, but Upper Fells, so more like Fells Point, Canton. I would see rents being higher in those neighborhoods for sure.
For sure. So you've been telling people now for about 5 years now. Y'all been playing.
Right.
Y'all been playing.
And we said, don't call me. Don't say I didn't tell you. So you can't say that about us. That's for sure.
So y'all been talking about it for 5 years now. What's the cheapest
That's what I
house?
said. Right. I try not to say that about Perkins Homes. Y'all are funny in the comments because I was like, Perkins Homes. I'm not sure because that's definitely the project. But I wasn't gonna say that.
I was just gonna let y'all live there. Okay. What's up, Tay Tay? I see y'all. Y'all in the house. Maryland's in the house.
What up?
What's up, everybody that's saying they're from Maryland? Somebody said also North Charles Street and Homewood are expensive. I think that's what she's saying. So what's the cheapest house you bought and what's the most expensive? If you can remember. I know you done did a millions.
So I bought property. So how much it cost to me, or what was the purchase price?
What was the purchase price?
$0 out of my pocket. that's just
hit it. Do it. Tell us the cheapest and then the
So I've definitely bought property with no money out of my pocket. And so that was nice, and it already had tenants, so it was already cash flowing. I came out of pocket $0. The cheapest house I've bought, so I've done packages. So if you break it down by property, probably around like $5-6 grand. I think there's one that we bought a couple months ago that we might have paid a little less than that. We might have paid 3 or 4, but that was because we leveraged a few relationships to make that happen.
Hey, that's the best kind.
And then the most expensive, we've paid over $200,000 for a house. So it just depends on your goals and what you're looking to do.
So let's go ahead and dispel some myths, right? Because people are gonna be like, hey, where them dollar homes at, girl?
Right. So the Dollar House program. I know that came up as another conversation a couple years ago. Everybody was super amped up about it. It was definitely a setup for people to start talking about Baltimore because ain't nobody finna give no house away for $1 anymore. And so the Dollar House program is actually a program in Baltimore in the 80s that came back up as conversation as a potential, program that we could revisit. I don't think that's feasible. When we did that the first time, Baltimore City provided funds to do those renovations for those dollar houses. Best believe there were big renovations. Those renovations are even larger now because if there's probably some properties that they tried to sell in the 80s that are still vacant. So those houses now with lumber prices, you're spending $200,000 on a rehab. And so, there's kind of that feasibility issue. But I do see the city doing something. They're having a lot of conversations about doing new things. And even Chloe was actually part of those conversations when he was on the transition team for the mayor coming on board. But
talk about it, be about it. Yes.
All the time. And so, they are, I could see them doing something different with like the vacants to value program. So the program has to sell properties that they have on the books. I can see them doing something creative with that. There's been some conversations about land banking and stuff like that. But the Dollar House program specifically, I don't even know if that one's coming back. I don't even know.
Okay, and the only reason I bring it up is because, listen, y'all be sending me emails, and I thank you, I do, but can you just forward them to Kiera because they live there, and I don't live there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I appreciate the email, but okay, Doug, I'm gonna hit you that email. Okay, let me go ahead and share you. This is what I think they were talking about. One girl sent this to me, and I was like, "Boo, this ain't my area." So, anyways, let's go here. Now, prime example, I'm gonna show you this one first, and then I'm gonna show you the next one. This is for okay, let me do it like that. This is 65,000, y'all. 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath. Now, I'm just gonna say what I'm gonna say. If you're from New York, this is a steal. If you're from Philly, this is a steal because you can't really get none in Philly right now. If you coming from DC, this is a steal. Now, the reason I bring that up is a lot of people try to act like, well, there can't be great stuff for low prices. Y'all, look at the pictures, look at the neighborhood, look at the homes. Like, it's not, I just want y'all to get that concept of it's a money thing, right? Most people think, well, if it's low price, it's got to be dangerous, right? And so I just wanted to get that out your vocabulary. I just want to get that out your mind.
Yes.
I'm gonna show my email. My bad.
Sorry about that. A $5,000 house because you're buying it for $5,000, that you're getting a good deal, right? There are some houses that you couldn't pay me to buy, right? Somebody said $1 house and $1 million worth of headaches. Exactly. Like,
bam, tell them about it.
$5,000 houses. If you have somebody like talking about Baltimore, like, yeah, just go in and buy a house for $1,000 or something like that. They're trying to set you up, homie. right? So make sure you're not getting set up for the okie doke and you're being set up for success. And so that might mean paying a little bit more for property. That might mean doing a lot of different things. But a cheap house doesn't mean good deal. You don't want to just buy a house and have a house. You want to be able to turn that into cash flow. You want to turn a vacant house into home, right? All those types of things. Because otherwise you're just buying another bill, and that's not fun.
That's not fun. Trust me. I've had 2 projects now that have sat vacant for a year, and I finally just dug into them. And trust me, you do not want to pay to lock up, to protect it, the forest, to block it up. You don't want to pay for that. I promise you. Yep. So this is what I was talking about. And I think this is what she sent me. If it's you, if you're on the chat, my bad. If you're not, whatever. All right. So again, she sent me this. And she's like, look, there are 1,000. I want you, someone who is in Baltimore, who is in the real estate market, to break down probably what we're seeing here when you see this thing say $1,000.
So if you're buying a house for $1,000, chances are, especially right now, the cost of renovation, and this is why Baltimore, people get so jammed up in Baltimore because you don't understand the city and how this market works. So chances are where you're seeing these properties, the cost of the renovation is going to supersede the value of the home once it's completed. And so Baltimore is block to block. So sometimes people are looking at properties and like, oh, well, a mile and a half away, there's property selling for $300,000. Well, that's cute and all, but that's none of your business for this property, right? So a mile and a half is very far.
That's none of your business.
That's
not your business.
No, that's not your business at all. Like a mile and a half is very far. So when you don't know and understand like the city and you don't have resources on the ground, or you don't understand how to really like run numbers here, you're buying a property that you're not going to be able to get funding for. You're not going to be able to refinance out of, and you're not going to be able to afford to do the renovation for it. So you really, really, really have to pay attention to those things for sure.
For sure. Thank you, Doug, for hitting that. You guys hit the like button. You guys drop a 1 if you like the content we're dropping, and the links for Kiera and Khalil's free webinar is in the links. Y'all can go check them out. They be dropping the gems all the time. Okay. So I show them this because also you guys have what do you call them? Fines? Is it like vacant fines? Describe that a little bit too.
Yeah, so you have to register your vacant. So there's like process, there's that process. So you have to make sure you're registered, which of course comes with the fee. Baltimore's great at fees. So that comes with the fee. You don't do it, you get a fine. And then when you have a property that sits vacant, you will get charged environmental fines. So you will have to get the work done. Like they will hold you accountable to do the work. And now this is actually a new policy in Baltimore. They're putting vacant property owners on blast. They'll put a sign on the door with one of those like barcode things to get the owner's contact information. So you can walk up the street and find somebody's contact information if they're sitting on a vacant property. So the city's holding you accountable, but so is the community to getting the property done. And if it just sits and you're not addressing the issues, you're not taking care of the environmental fines, they're putting liens on your property, all those types of things, at the end of the day, they'll take the property back. So Baltimore is, a city that will put the property in receivership and take you to court and take it back and auction it off. So this isn't, and, I'm not just saying this because we're anti sitting on vacant properties, because it makes our job harder to develop the city, but also it just costs you money and headache and time and energy to not do anything. So really you want to know how to get into these properties so you can not only buy, but renovate, turn it into a home. So you're able to be, add value add to the community and add a value into your bottom line and your wealth.
And so I'm just rolling through here showing y'all where it's 35,000, where y'all send me emails and I'm gonna just forward it to Kiera's staff because I ain't got time. Yes, there are these prices. Do I know the steps? No, I do not. You know why? Because I don't live there. I don't invest in that city. I do not invest in Baltimore, you guys. I don't have any properties there as much as I would love to. That's a future kind of thing, fall thing. But again, yes, this is 35,000, but guess who you should ask? Kiera and them. Go ahead. Attend their webinars, attend their events, and attend their training so you can pick a quality property, not just a cheap property. Okay? Go ahead. You got to know what you're doing. You can't come into somebody's city and not know what you're doing.
Right. And then you want to tell me after. That's when y'all want to reach out to me after I done told you what to do, what not to do. Then you try to do it on your own.
That.
Right. You try to do it on your own. Then you call me talking about, can you help me? Well, you should have.
It's going to cost you.
Be proactive.
Okay, so again, I'm doing this for a reason. I'm again, y'all send me a lot of emails, and I appreciate them. Enrique's in the Philippines; he can't help you either on these prices. Okay, so again, these are the prices. Yes, you see 65,000, but the best step when you want to invest in a marketplace is to talk to the people who are kicking butt in that marketplace, who know the hiccups and the steps, and who are going to have what. Now they're not going to give you day contractors. That's not
if you're in next gen, you already know we already got you.
There you go. But you need to have connections in that city where you plan on investing. You need to have a team to help you. I mean, right now I got one tenant and one of my properties been there 20 months, Kiera. 20 months. Goose egg, okay? And she working. But every other property in that city doing well. You have to be able to talk to people in that city that know what they're doing. Because if you go in the city and you buying, you end up with issues like what I'm just describing you. Okay. Yep. So again, 65,000. Talk to me. Come on, y'all. That's where you gonna get them prices at? Where you gonna get them prices at? You going to Oklahoma City? You going to Tulsa? Where are you going? This could be that way.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, so even the property. So if you scroll up real quick. Okay, so it was 19. No. It's this. It's the one
1940.
Hold on just a little bit. Yeah, for Lexington, the property on Lexington Street, right? So that property, there's pockets in this area. I'll kind of dive into one of them. So there's pockets in this neighborhood that are really, really great. Like they're owner occupied. There are people who've been living here for forever. They own their property free and clear. You have some pockets also over here that are kind of hit and miss. But I can say for like this property, for example, if you do the renovation well, and they're not other vacants on the block. So Section 8 for that 3-bedroom, once it's like in condition and ready to go, you can probably rent a Section 8 for like $1,400 a month. If it's market rent, you could probably do at least $1,200. That's a $65,000 house. Now you're gonna have to. It doesn't look like it needs a ton of work. I'm sure it needs some, but still, like that return is solid when you know what to look for, how to look at it, and then understand how to pass the process to be able to rent it in the first place, because there are some things that you have to do in the property in order to legally have a tenant move in.
Is this big enough for everybody to see? Drop a 1 in the comments if you are. With the fireplaces like that, are most fireplaces in Baltimore bricked up?
Not all the time. I think sometimes they brick them up if like maybe they didn't want to do the chimney. I'm not sure, because this is an interior unit, so I think that's just a fake fireplace anyway. Right. But sometimes you will see like the fireplace is bricked up. In these houses, actually in this area, there usually is a fireplace in this front room. That is like a kind of a thing of this neighborhood.
Okay, I just wanted to show y'all, you look at it. They did something before here, but I don't know. It's a hit and miss. They did a little bit on the kitchen, I think. They tried to clean it up a little bit for you.
It doesn't look too bad. I would just double check, have
everything.
Check the plumbing and electrical and the heating system. A lot of these houses have like boiler systems too, so I would check the big things.
What's going on in here? It needs some check it out. Oh, okay. Keep on going. Okay, listen, y'all got to call these tenants for you just show up at their house. Y'all can't be doing people like this with the no sheets on the bed, sis. Right. Got to call people before you show up. Okay, so this probably is a basement.
Yeah, a lot of these ones in this neighborhood have basements, have full basements. There's probably a laundry room and a bathroom in the back as well.
Gotcha.
But that's what's fun about working with like our mentees. Like we know, like I can look at it. I can tell you the characteristics of the house. I can tell you what the problem probably is with the house. This probably needs some brickwork, like some repointing, because sometimes there's water that gets in. Like we're in the nitty gritty of a lot of these properties. So then when folks are sending us deals, like we can give specifics on what to look for and what to think about and what to consider, because we did a house not that far from here, right?
For sure.
How to move around here.
Do y'all finish out basements down there? What do y'all do up there? Well, up there, because I'm in Texas.
It depends on the neighborhood and the comps, right? So in real estate, you want to do what your comps are saying. So some areas of the city, you're going to see more basements being completed. In other parts of the city, like maybe, for example, Pigtown, you probably won't see finished basements because a lot of those basements are really short and you have to underpin and it costs a whole lot of money and you're not really going to see a lot of that back. So it just depends on where you are in the city on whether or not you have full basements, one, and then if they actually get finished, number two.
The neighbor got a nice deck back there. Okay. Okay, let's update it. Where do you park? This is street parking, right?
Yep, this one's street parking in this neighborhood.
Okay, I just want to show y'all because y'all be messaging me and I don't be knowing. Okay. I don't be knowing.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me see some of y'all. Okay, let me see some of y'all comments because y'all in here. La 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 la. Oh goodness. Okay.
I see Ty Little said, "Are you planning to do another Baltimore meetup this fall? The one we attended a few summers ago was fire." Yo, we miss Mobilize Baltimore so much. COVID done shut us down. But yes, we are hoping to do one in the fall. So more to come on that. Make sure you're tapped in with us online so you can learn when we do that again.
Tanya Peppers is cutting up in the chat. She's talking about some $1 house in the tire public system is stolen. And be more, it says you can be in a nice area, turn the corner, end up in the middle of the hood. Is that true?
That's a fact. That's a fact. Absolutely. It's block to block, and that's the history of redlining, right? They drew the lines, and that's how it came up.
So DMV housing has jumped 21%. Buying a home in this area is expensive. Engineering Kansas, $65,000 to me isn't expensive. Anything under 180, I can't get under 400,000 in Austin, really, to be truthfully honest. So even in Dallas, people are trying to buy rentals in Dallas on the $300,000 mark, right? So and a few years ago, it was a 150. I've got friends who bought houses 5 years ago for 176, and they sold them for 376. So you have to understand that, like, people are like, oh, it's going to crash. Everything's going to crash. That's not really how it works. If you have an influx of people leaving New York, that's what's really happening right now. You have millions of people leaving New York, leaving Connecticut, leaving Philly, leaving all these states and going down.
Baltimore.
What's a 40-minute drive to Washington, D.C., Baltimore? So again, they can't afford to be in D.C., some people, and so they have a halfway point.
Yep, absolutely.
Let me see.
Yes, you do. You need guidance in Baltimore. When you're out here trying to just figure it out on your own, that's when you choose to make mistakes. And sometimes that's okay, because sometimes that's the only way some people will learn. And you just know and understand that you're going to lose money. You're going to buy the wrong property. You're going to mess up with your contractors, all those types of things. And then for people that work with us, they're like, look, I'm not trying to fumble and bump my head and, be all jacked up all the time. Like, I want to be surrounded by the right people. I want the right information. I want the right resources and skip a lot of those headaches so I can focus on getting things done and accomplishing my goals. So there's two ways to do it, but you gonna jack up.
Listen,
try to figure it out on your own.
You want to save yourself some time and headache, right? And kind of get into the jet stream is what we call it. What is the jet stream? People who are there actively doing it, actively participating in the economy and the market, and actively know what are the hiccups in the system. And that's Charm City buyers, just point blank period. Listen, they don't know it, but they're going to hook me up in the fall with a discount. They don't know it yet, but they're going to find it in their pockets and hearts. No, he's like, cheap is not in our budget, boo. No, right. And I think you answered this. Is there one planning for the fall, or we don't know yet?
More to come. Okay. We're trying to finalize some stuff now. I'm hoping so. I really am.
I know the schedules are crazy for everybody. You guys understand it's 6 months to the end of the year, but when we plan events, we like, okay, it's 52 days to my first show. It's 34 days to do this and lock in the spaces. It's not just like, yeah, let's meet up tomorrow. Let's do it. Yeah.
Unless we do that with Next Gen. We'll be like, yo, like link up with us here in the city because, everybody in Next Gen's investing in Baltimore. So we're able to do stuff like that. So when you're in the circle, we'll do things more often, but Mobilize Baltimore, we're still trying to lock that one down.
See, don't y'all go in here with that Trump mess again. Okay, listen.
Well, you know what?
Yeah.
I mean, so let's talk about it real quick, right? So So there was a lot of conversation. I'm not going to get into Elijah Cummings things, but I think what you do have to also remember is how invested the Trump family is in the city of Baltimore. So every time those conversations came up about Baltimore, what they didn't say was that his son-in-law owned like 14,000 units or something crazy like that and was in the middle of a lawsuit when he was saying Baltimore ain't nothing, right? He was getting sued at the time. But they own a lot of what's in Baltimore. And so when you think about all the money that flows into this city and had been, and when they did the Opportunity Zone program, why they were trying to make Baltimore a pilot space is because they were invested in the growth and opportunity of Baltimore, like a lot of people and politicians are, which is why there's billions and billions of dollars flowing into the city right now.
I guess, again, when you have a strong rental market and people are not purchasing, but they're renting, you guys like the keep it 100. There are people I've met in Austin that own 100 houses. Mm-hmm. They ain't never selling. I don't care how expensive Austin gets. They ain't never selling. Because that's really the true key to the long-term stuff where your kids have something and they have something, then your grandkids have something. Like, you know, I'm from the Carolinas. There are people who own the same 19, 20 little raggedy houses. Grandpa owned them, daddy owned them, now they own them. I mean, that just is the game. Right. Okay, like I'm not trying to be funny. And I always tell people, like, no matter what the government got going on, what do you have planned for you? What you got planned in the next 5 years? 100%. You know, if you know you need to move, thank y'all for the cash apps. They're talking about you preaching. If you know you need to get up out of New York, and this is my biggest argument I have with New Yorkers, y'all know, y'all have seen this firsthand, how you can be displaced. Mm-hmm. Do not move to a new city and don't invest in it. Yep. People in Atlanta right now crying about, man, they getting crazy. And I'm like, where you from? Oh, New York, but I've been here 20 years. Baby, you know more than anybody that y'all will be up out of here in 5 minutes, okay? Tanya Pepper said, God bless you, sisters. Thank you so much. But I just want to hit on that real quick. Somebody said the Baltimore houses are cute, old school houses.
Yeah, beautiful architecture.
He basically said he sees a lot of potential. Show me all the housing that need plumbing. Plumbing is easy. Yeah, you know, that's just one of the things, you know. Mm-hmm. Stop at AM1. Mrs. Charm City Buyers is very cute. Mrs.
All the bling. I should blind you real quick.
What caption? You know what I'm talking about. But anyway. And Jeffrey said the foundation just needs to be good. I ain't tripping on plumbing and electrical. Thank you, Adrian. That's the truth.
Yeah. I ain't tripping on none of it. I don't even need a roof. I'm good.
Listen, I really my biggest thing was to go to Baltimore and go step in one of Kiera's houses that didn't have no roof. But every time we tried to go, it just didn't work. But we're going to go see one with no roof.
Come on.
We're going to get it this summer. Even Section 8 people are getting bougie now. They don't want to just live anywhere.
Section 8 in Baltimore, they don't play. You can't move someone in Section 8 on a block that has vacant houses. Like, you can't, people think that they're just going to buy a house in the hood around a bunch of vacants and throw somebody in Section 8 in there. And that's not didn't happen, right? So again, like, you have to understand how things work here. Even lenders in Baltimore are like, well, have you done things in Baltimore before? Mm-hmm. No, I'm not lending to you because you don't understand the process. You don't know all the hoops that you're going to have to jump through. And so for us, like our newbies in Next Gen, they'll just be like, oh, I'm in Next Gen, or I'm working with Charm City, or we're, provide the resources so that they can get through that process. But people in Baltimore, they don't, when you know Baltimore, you also know that you're not finna mess with just anybody, because a lot of people fail when they don't know how to get it done.
Listen, there's several people I know right now claiming they're going to go buy 2,000 units somewhere in Baltimore and they're going to do this in Baltimore. I'm like, baby, if you ain't spoke to people on the ground, you're not going to do it. Okay, I'm just going to let you know off the rip. Okay. Yeah. He's a very famous person. I'm like, baby, you better get to calling some people. Another thing I was going to
call me after.
Made me lose my train of thought. Oh, y'all. Wow. Okay. Okay, let me keep busy with y'all in here. How's the short-term rental market? Is that happening more now?
Yeah, so the short-term rental market can be really strong because when you think about Baltimore, one of the biggest employers, the biggest employer in Baltimore is in healthcare. So you think about traveling nurses. So a lot of people are focused on traveling nurses. But again, Baltimore has its own stuff. And so there are rules and regulations around short-term rentals. So you have to hit And like, so for Airbnb, for example, a lot of Airbnbs you can't do in Baltimore unless you live in that same house. And so the reason why traveling nurses is big is because those folks are staying in the home usually more than 90 days. And so technically in Baltimore, it kind of gets you out of some of the rules with short-term rentals because you're not allowed to like Airbnb a couple days in a property unless you live in it. So there's like, again, all these rules and things you need to know and think about so that you're setting yourself up for success on the front end. But otherwise, I got people in Nixon who are killing it in short-term rentals focused on traveling nurses.
Listen, and that's a big market. It's actually with this virus, you had a lot of people with the I'm just gonna say it, with the traveling nurses. They really needed housing and they really didn't want to put them in hotels, or they really didn't want to stay here or there. So this is a big thing. Tanya said they agree Baltimore is having the spillover effect of DC, but also see, people really don't believe New Yorkers be rolling out like that. New Yorkers are bouncing, okay? Like U-Haul push out, let's go.
Yep. All buyers are DC and New York right now, honestly, or people just leveling up in Baltimore. Yep.
Okay. Trauma City Virus. Again, thank you for the link, Doug. Doug's putting those links in. He's very serious. Brown Fox said Trump is in real estate. Let me see. Thinking corporate housing. Okay, that's a good one. That's a good.
Yeah. Corporate housing is good too. That works. There's not as big of a inventory for corporate housing, so it could be a good niche, and it also gives you an opportunity. If you don't have somebody from corporate in there, you could just throw someone from traveling nurses in there. And traveling nurses, that's a thing in Baltimore regardless of COVID, so you don't have to. COVID kind of relaxes, you're always going to have traveling nurses because of all the hospitals in Baltimore.
Okay, AM1's fired again. They like your hairdo. Just say you like our hairdo today. Anyway, aside from rental moratorium, how easy/hard is it to get non-paying tenant out?
Yeah, so Baltimore, a lot of people say that Baltimore is tenant friendly, right? And to an extent that's true, because Baltimore City government is always going to think about, like, how do I protect and make sure my residents are good? Because Baltimore is a city of like predatory stuff. But
in the past.
In the past, like redlining and all those types of things, displacement, all those stuff is really, there's a tough history for a lot of people. And so for that reason, their policies reflect that. But at the same time, if you understand the process, you're good. So if you understand the process and you screened your tenant well and you did everything you need to do as a landlord, you're not a slumlord, usually it'll take, about 90 days to get a tenant out outside of COVID and moratoriums, if you understand the process. But if you are a slumlord, right, the tenant knows how to navigate that system, and they'll make that go longer. So there's that. The mayor actually just came out with a fund or funds for tenants to get up to $2,000 from the city for security deposits, so that they were able to, move to different places, and, if they're in a situation, be able to move out. But anyway, getting out a non-paying tenant, typically, if you understand the process, about 90 days from missed payment to full eviction.
Okay, listen, I see y'all hitting the link while we talking. It's already 5 of y'all that signed up. I appreciate you, but come on now, focus. Hold on, bring your questions in real quick before she leave, okay? Sorry, Pepper said that is good. So Kier, if somebody comes to you and they like, hey man, look, I got 50 racks, and they want to start investing and working inside Baltimore, what is the realistic expectations you want to talk with them about?
Their goals. Right. So you can do a lot of things with $50,000, but what is it that you're actually trying to accomplish? Like, what we're really big on is working backwards. So I just had a call with somebody in Next Gen today, and she had 70. She had $7,000 cash. She was about to get another 50, and she's like, what should I do? I'm like, well, what are your goals? And we talked through, what her plan is to leave her job and when her kids go to college to back into, well, what should you be doing right now? And so that conversation usually talks about what your cash flow goals are, like how much income you're trying to make from investing, what your comfort level is with construction, what your relationship with debt is. Like, are you trying to go all cash? Are you cool with leveraging the property? Are you trying to do 10 properties this year or 2? Right. right? So we know how much cash you have to continuously have available to do more deals versus being able to get into properties, putting, 20% down with a 30-year mortgage, or having to get something short-term and refinance out to pull cash. So all of those different pieces are part of the puzzle, but usually we focus on your goals, your relationship with debt and financing, how much cash you have available, your credit score, and things like, building a team, like are you planning or not, so we can think about what types of property is going to be the best for you to purchase.
So if you can share with us, what are some big things that just happened for you guys down in Charm City, Ireland? I know y'all like buying up 27 acres out there or something crazy. Please share with audience if you can. I mean, I know y'all famous now. Let me know.
Yeah, we have a lot going on. We have some announcements coming up. Like, it's a little early to share yet, but I want to. You know how I am. But Chloe be like, "You did what?" But I will say we have some really, really big development projects that we'll be announcing soon, which is exciting. And Q1, we actually acquired a construction company. So the company that we have been working with for years, we acquired, and
I love it.
We've been kind of really working towards how do we leverage that to be able to support Next Gen, really first and foremost, which is why we haven't announced it publicly and what company it is, all of that, because we want to take care of our mentees and our family first. But yeah, so there's a lot happening, which is super exciting. And then our big goal is 2,400 houses over the next 4 years with our Next Gen family, our Next Gen mentorship folks. And so that means we've been focusing a lot on, okay, in order to get there, the 3 big things for folks is access to funding, access to contractors, and access to deals. And so we've been focusing on how do we solve those problems and be able to direct the right resources into our folks so we can hit that 2,400 number. So
I love it. So listen, what I heard is I got the hookup for the construction company on it. But for real, you guys, listen, the reason I bring her on is I really like what they're doing up there. They're really creating investors from the ground up, if you want to hear to per se, because a lot of times people come into a city from the outside. They don't know anybody. They want to come and invest. And I'm going to give y'all this, my little caveat about Houston is one of the most predominantly Black neighborhoods. 5 families own 80% of the rentals there in 3rd and 5th Ward. There are 2 Italian families and 3 Jewish families. Nothing wrong with that. Own what you own. But I want you to understand that if you don't invest in a city and you live there or you see the news going on about that city, you really can't complain about it because you're not a part of the change. Yeah. So if you want to get Next Gen Accelerator, you want to work with Kiera and Khalil, you want to start investing from, kind of like start to finish, someone to work with you, group kind of like y'all have like what you call private Facebook group or Discord or I don't know how your group works, but you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Community conversations, commuting with people who are in the same place you are, starting off, investing in Baltimore, kind of seeing what are the hot spots to invest in. You know what I mean? Like y'all have off talk, conversations.
Big time.
You need to be in Next Gen Accelerator. That's just all there is to it. Or you need to blow up Kiera phone because am I in Baltimore? No. Am I investing there right now? No. Can I give you the best answers possible on that city? Nope. But I know somebody who can.
Yep, exactly. And so we have that free class to be able to learn and understand exactly what's going on in Baltimore and understand what it is that we're doing, why we're so amped up. And of course, to take it to that next level, what Next Gen is all about, what we're doing with that, our big goals and visions. We're super passionate about everything that we do. And so we'll share more about that. But that free live class, like we've had people that have gone to that and was like, yo, you saved my deal with that free class. You were able to, I bought my house based on what you shared on that property. You saved my deal based on what you shared on that class. So the free class is all the way live. And then if you're really looking to tap in and dive all the way in, Next Gen is absolutely where it's at. And we have folks who are brand spanking new, and we have folks who have been investing in real estate for 10, 15 years, but are newer to Baltimore or have a couple properties in Baltimore, but are looking to scale and build their portfolio larger. We have people in Next Gen who are literally developing blocks, like literally doing block projects, and leveraging Next Gen to do it. And so there's a lot of diversity in that. But at the end of the day, you're surrounded by people who are headed where you're trying to go. Everyone's investing in Baltimore or have been where you're trying to get to. And that is key to success, really checking your environment, who you're surrounding yourself with, to make sure that you're pulling yourself to that next level, and then leveraging our information, resources, and tools to get there. So that's
the best part about that is I think it's Kinetic Capital.
Kinetic.
Yeah, I'm killing it. But like, she has several people who are like I saw them 2-3 years ago, maybe 3 years, 2019. And now I watch them. They doing their own projects. They building out stuff. They knocking it out. People visiting them. 2 of your other students, I've met them and seen them do stuff like they selling properties now. They've been in Baltimore so long now that they sold 1 or 2 of their properties. I'm like, dang. So again, like,
when Kinetic joined Next Gen, they had 1 property. They got like 30 now. 30 doors, and they've been working with. They joined Next Gen about 1.5 years ago, maybe a little bit longer, a little bit more than 1.5 years ago.
More, I think.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm gonna tell you about your student, but I'm just saying from following them
because COVID jacks everything up. So it's probably about 2 years ago. Yeah, I forget. I skip a whole year. So maybe about 2 years ago. But yeah, like that's the results that people are getting, because you're able to save that time and energy on making all those mistakes and focus on scaling and focus on your goals. And so they'll tell you quick. There's a lot of times I told them, don't do that. For them to be able to do that.
This is who I'm talking about. If he says something, y'all can go ahead and message him and say, Ericka was talking about you on the show today. I'll let them know as well, so they'll be like, what's going on? But they're really good. They're a prime example of what I would see is like a working, live, walking testimonial of like what it takes when you work together in teamwork. So I like them. They're a cute couple. They crack me up. But yeah, listen, for those who say you want to join, you want to check it out, go check it out. Doug's putting the links in the chat. And Kira, what are any lasting thoughts you would love to share with us today?
Yeah, make sure you guys register for that free class to jump in. Make sure you're following us. You can pull up our IG, follow us on Instagram at Charm City Buyers, Charm City Buyers on Facebook, Charm City Buyers on Twitter. You can learn more about us and what we're doing on our YouTube channel, Charm City Buyers, and charmcitybuyers.com. It's pretty easy to find us. Really, it's about diving in, leaning into what it is that you're looking to do and accomplish. Let's get it.
Listen, y'all, they be cracking me up. And they basically are a couple that share. You know, sometimes you go to somebody's Instagram and it's just a wife or it's just a husband. Like, they be sharing and they be cutting up in the chat. So, but definitely.
Look at our reel today, though, because I've been watching it all day. Go to our reel.
They got summer hair now. Look at these babies, y'all. Anyway, where am I going? Here?
Yeah, go to the real. No. Go scroll down. Yeah, that one. You gotta watch that. It's mad funny.
And that's how Kira really be, but she be having hot slippers on.
It's so funny.
They be cutting up. I love it. So again, love it. Y'all looking like y'all vibing. Summer hair going on for both of you. Got the highlights. Again, look, they be what? But yeah, look at this. I want to go in one of these, but they be moving so fast. I can't even get in there. So, all right, you guys, definitely check them out. Yeah, thank you, Doug. Doug be posting. Thank you, Doug. You be posting all the links.
You, Doug. Let's go.
Okay, so listen, I'm going to visit them again, but I'm going to check their schedule because, I got to go to Puerto Rico and then I got to go to a couple other places in Arizona before the tour, small time frame. So I'm going to check with them and I'm going to see if we can do some live video of the Baltimores. AM1 might be on road with us. So we're going to see if we can catch one of those open rooftops. We want to see it. Drop tops. Tanya Pepper's talking about, yikes. Yeah, read their pictures, read their information. They have lots of social proof. You can't beat it. So, all right, you guys, this is your girl Ericka from the Classy Climb blog. Kiera, tell them bye.
See y'all later. Thanks for having me. Maybe Ericka will let me come back before 2 years is up. We'll see.
Listen, so many winners from her classes have emerged from Baltimore. We be so busy. No. All right, listen, everybody. Thank you for coming out.